Good morning, dear students. Welcome to circulatory system once again, and here we'll continue with the types of blood circulation. Already we have completed the heartbeat, the blood vessels, its characteristics and its functions. So all those are given or summarized on in the table 8.3 on page number 104. So once again I'll recall you once we complete this lesson. So here we belong with the two blood circulations, that is pulmonary and systemic. Two types of blood circulation, that is pulmonary and systemic. The general plan of blood circulation in our body is shown in figure 8.13 on page number 105. You see here, blood flows twice in the heart before it completes one full round. I think all these things you are thorough in your 8th standard, and this is a repetition and little more elaborated one. So blood flows twice in the heart before it completes one full round. So the shortest circulation is the pulmonary circulation and the longest circulation is the systemic circulation. Pulmonary means the lungs and systemic means the whole body or the general body. So for this reason, the blood circulates in the human body is called as double circulation. And we will see what is this pulmonary circulation in detail. Pulmonary circulation is belonging to the circulation which takes place in the lungs. It starts in the pulmonary artery, arises from the right ventricle, and soon it divides into two branches that enters the respective lungs. Pulmonary veins collect the oxygenated blood from the lungs and carry it back to the left auricle of the heart. This is how the pulmonary circulation is conducted. Now the second phase is your systemic circulation. Here this major circulation is involving the whole body or the general body. It starts with the aorta that arises from the left ventricle, and the aorta arches back and continues behind as the dorsal aorta. The aorta sends arteries to various parts of the body and their tissues, and from there the blood is collected by the veins and poured it back into again the heart. So twice it reaches the heart. That's why our blood circulation is called as double circulation. Once through the lung and second time through the whole body. That's why it reaches the heart two times and it's called as double circulation. Topic is hepatic portal system. What is this hepatic portal system? Now what is this portal system in fact? You have learned that an artery begins from the heart and breaks into small arteries which finally ends into capillaries. This capillaries joins to form the small veins which fuses with each other and from larger veins as they reach near the heart. So in contrast, what happens? A vein starts from the capillaries and carries blood directly to the heart. So however, in some cases, a vein instead of carrying blood directly to the heart divides again into a secondary capillary system in the tissue. And that type of system is called as a portal vein. So you can say a portal vein is one which starts with a capillary and ends in a capillary, such as the hepatic portal vein and a hypophyseal portal vein, which is not there in your textbook, but hepatic portal vein is there. So portal vein means this is the vein which starts with a capillary and ends in a capillary. Most often this question comes, what do you mean by a hepatic portal vein or a portal vein? So you can write very easily, this is the capillary, this is the vein that starts with a capillary and ends in a capillary. So what is this hepatic portal vein? The veins from the stomach and the intestine do not open directly into the posterior vena cava, but it open into the liver through hepatic portal vein. So the nutrients absorbed in the blood from the stomach and the intestine passes to the liver cells, and therefore the blood returns to the posterior vena cava again through the hepatic vein. So this whole system of collection of venous blood from the abdominal organs and its supply to the liver is called as hepatic portal system. Pulse. So when the ventricles of the heart contract and the pump blood into the arteries with great pressure, the pressure passes along the arteries like a wave. This wave can be felt as a throbbing movement by placing a finger over a superficial artery. For example, you can feel the arterial pressure by pressing the finger on the radial artery of your wrist towards the side of the thumb. So this wave of distension is called as the arterial pulse. As each heartbeat sends one pulse along the arteries, the pulse rate per minute indicates the heartbeat or heartbeat rate of the person. So pulse can be counted at 5 points in the human body, you see. First of all, on the wrist it is radial artery. At the side of the neck it is carotid artery. Near the groin it is femoral artery. On the foot it is pedal artery. And at the inside of the elbow or under the shoulder, that is called as the branchial artery. So the pulse rate increases due to physical exercise or under even certain emotions. So counting of pulse is indirectly the counting of heartbeat. That is what we call it as the pulse. So the next topic is our blood pressure. When the blood flows into the arteries, it exerts a pressure on their walls. That is called as a blood pressure. A normal blood pressure has two limits, an upper limit and a lower limit. Upper limit is the systolic pressure. It is the pressure exerted by the blood during the ventricular systole. And the normal systolic pressure of a healthy person is 120 millimeter of mercury. Now lower limit is called as the diastolic pressure, and it is the pressure exerted by the blood during the ventricular diastole. So the normal diastolic pressure is about 80 mm Hg. And blood pressure can be measured with an instrument called as sphygmomanometer. The normal blood pressure of an adult human being is 120 by 80, and the rise in blood pressure above this range will be called as hypertension, and the decrease in the blood pressure will be called as the hypotension. So the normal blood pressure for adults is 100 to 140 is the systolic, and 60 to 80 also is called as diastolic. So this is what we call it as blood pressure. Lymph. Tissue fluid means the fluid in between the cell or intercellular fluid. As the blood flows in the capillaries of the tissues, the plasma and the leukocytes leak out through their walls. This fluid bathes the cell and is called as the tissue fluid or the intercellular or extracellular fluid. And it is from this fluid that the cells absorb oxygen and the required substances, in turn gives out carbon dioxide and other waste back into it. That is what we call it as a tissue fluid. Lymph and lymphatic system. Some of the tissue fluid may be reabsorbed into the blood vessels, but most of it enter another set of minute channels named as lymph vessels, where it is called as lymph. The main lymph vessels are shown in figure 8.16 on page number 107. You go through it. The lymph flows in these vessels due to contraction of surrounding muscles. This again is a beneficial effect of physical exercise. The lymph vessels on the way drain lymph into the lymph nodes, from where the fresh lymph channels arise and ultimately pour the lymph into the major anterior veins, which is close to their entry into the right auricle and is again in circulation. So what is the composition of lymph? It contains the cellular parts, that is only leukocytes and no blood platelets. And non-cellular parts are 94% of water and 6% of solids in the form of proteins, fats, carbohydrates, enzymes and antibodies, etc. Its function is, it's nutritive, supplies nutrition and oxygen to those parts where blood cannot reach. It helps in drainage. It drains away excess tissue fluid and metabolites, and it turns protein to the blood and form the tissue spaces. Absorption. It helps fats from the intestine are absorbed through the lymphatics. And it is a defense mechanism. Lymphocytes and monocytes of the lymph functions to defend the body. The lymphatics also remove bacteria from the tissues. And this lymph node tend to localize the infection and prevent it from spreading to the whole body. The tonsils on the sides of the neck are also the lymphatic glands. Spleen. Spleen is a large lymphatic organ about the size of a clenched fist again, which is reddish brown in color and situated in the abdomen, behind the stomach and above the left kidney. That is the location of the spleen. Its function is, it acts as like a blood reservoir. It's an emergency such as hemorrhage, physical or emotional stress, or in carbon monoxide poisoning, the spleen releases the stored blood into the bloodstream. It produces lymphocytes, it destroys worn out RBCs, and in an embryo, spleen produces RBCs. By now, we have completed this whole lesson. Hope you all have understood, and if any doubt, please ask me on my personal number. And you can go through the review questions, short answers, long answers, and structured answers. And after that, I'll also give you the solved answers so that you can verify your answers. Thank you and have a nice day.